In the chaotic rush of modern life, it's easy to forget the most fundamental truth of all: to live authentically. So many of us spend our lives chasing dreams shaped by society's expectations, looking outward for approval, validation, and a sense of purpose. Yet, in doing so, we often lose sight of ourselves, the core of who we truly are. But what if the true key to happiness was not found in what we achieve, how much we acquire, or even in the opinions of others? What if the key was found within, in the quiet and powerful act of simply living in alignment with our truest self? Imagine waking up every day feeling grounded, purposeful, and content, not because the world around you has changed, but because you have changed how you see the world. This journey to authenticity, while often misunderstood as selfish, is the very foundation of a fulfilling life. It means knowing who you are, accepting your strengths and weaknesses, and having the courage to live a life that reflects your innermost values. When we stop looking outward for approval and start looking inward for clarity, something magical happens: inner peace emerges. This inner peace, however, isn't a place we arrive at overnight. It's cultivated over time through self-reflection, gratitude, emotional intelligence, and the wisdom to accept what cannot be changed. As we embark on this journey together, we'll explore the intricate pathways that lead to true authenticity, self-healing, and the discovery of a life lived with intention and meaning. Living authentically means having the courage to live life according to your own values, not those imposed by others. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by external expectations, whether from family, society, or social media, it can feel overwhelming to even know who we truly are. Yet, the only way to find lasting happiness is to align our actions with our true selves. Authenticity is not a destination but a continuous journey. It requires daily effort to reflect on your values and ensure they guide your decisions. Inauthenticity, on the other hand, leads to frustration and emptiness, as we end up living a life that belongs to someone else, not ourselves. We wear masks to fit in, to please others, but these masks become heavy over time. Eventually, we lose sight of who we really are under all the layers of pretense. When we live authentically, we stop living for others' approval. We learn to validate our worth from within. This doesn't mean we disregard others' opinions, but rather, we no longer let them define us. We create a solid foundation of self-acceptance and self-love. This foundation allows us to handle criticism with grace and success with humility. Living authentically empowers you to make decisions rooted in integrity, to pursue a life that resonates with your heart, and to create a world in which you can thrive, not just survive. Gratitude is often described as the most transformative emotion we can experience. It's easy to focus on what we don't have, on what's lacking, and on the things that could go wrong. But gratitude shifts our perspective, allowing us to see abundance where we once saw scarcity. By appreciating what we already have, we invite more blessings into our lives. The practice of gratitude isn't about ignoring life's challenges or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it's about recognizing that even in difficult times, there are always moments of light, lessons learned, and opportunities for growth. When we start to actively practice gratitude, it shifts our entire mindset from one of lack to one of abundance. In fact, the most resilient people are often those who maintain a deep sense of gratitude, even in the face of adversity. They don't allow setbacks to steal their joy because they understand that challenges are a part of life. Instead, they focus on the small, beautiful moments: the warmth of the sun on their skin, the comfort of a kind word, or the simple pleasure of a cup of tea. Gratitude creates a ripple effect. When we express it, not only do we feel more positive in content, but we also spread that positivity to others. It transforms relationships, strengthens bonds, and nurtures a sense of community. A grateful heart draws in more to be grateful for. It's as though the universe responds to our acknowledgement of its gifts by offering us even more. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions, as well as the emotions of others. In many ways, EQ is more important than IQ because it determines how we navigate the complexities of life and relationships. People with high emotional intelligence are able to maintain calm in stressful situations, practice empathy, and communicate effectively. They don't let their emotions dictate their actions. Instead, they acknowledge their feelings, process them, and then decide how to respond thoughtfully. At the heart of emotional intelligence is the ability to stay grounded, even when the world around you feels chaotic. It means not reacting impulsively, but taking a step back to observe the situation and your emotional state. This pause allows you to act from a place of wisdom rather than reactivity. When you cultivate emotional intelligence, you strengthen your relationships, reduce stress, and gain a deeper sense of inner peace. You understand that your happiness isn't dependent on external circumstances, but on how you choose to interpret and respond to those circumstances. Furthermore, emotional intelligence helps us navigate relationships with others. It enables us to see situations from their perspective, practice active listening, and offer compassion. As a result, we build more meaningful connections and experience less conflict. One of the greatest sources of suffering in life is resistance. Resistance to change, to pain, to the unknown. We often try to control everything around us, thinking that by doing so, we can avoid discomfort or disappointment. But life doesn't work that way. Change is inevitable, and pain is a part of the human experience. The sooner we learn to accept this truth, the sooner we can find peace. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or settling for less than what we deserve. Instead, it means acknowledging the reality of a situation and choosing to move forward with grace. When we accept life as it is, rather than as we wish it would be, we stop wasting energy on things we cannot control. We open ourselves up to the lessons that life is trying to teach us. Acceptance is not passive. It's an active choice to embrace what is and find ways to grow from it. By practicing acceptance, we learn to let go of the need for perfection and the desire to control every outcome. We become more adaptable, more resilient, and more at peace with the world and ourselves. Acceptance allows us to face life's challenges head-on, without the added burden of resistance and denial. Self-compassion is one of the most powerful tools for healing. It involves treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend in need. Yet, for many of us, self-compassion is much harder to practice than compassion for others. We hold ourselves to impossibly high standards and are quick to judge ourselves harshly when we fall short. But healing cannot occur in a space of self-criticism. To truly heal, we must learn to be gentle with ourselves, to forgive our mistakes, and to allow ourselves the time and space needed to recover. Self-compassion is not about avoiding responsibility or making excuses for our behavior. Instead, it's about recognizing our humanity, the fact that we all make mistakes, we all experience pain, and we are all worthy of love and understanding, especially from ourselves. When we practice self-compassion, we create a safe space within ourselves where healing can take place. We stop punishing ourselves for past mistakes and start nurturing ourselves for future growth. This doesn't mean ignoring our faults, but rather acknowledging them with a sense of kindness and committing to learn from them. Letting go is one of the hardest lessons to learn in life, yet it is also one of the most liberating. We often hold on to things, whether it be relationships, past mistakes, or unfulfilled dreams, because letting go feels like admitting defeat. But in reality, holding on too tightly only creates more suffering. Letting go is not about forgetting or erasing the past. It's about freeing yourself from the grip of those memories and allowing yourself to move forward. It's about understanding that some things are beyond your control and that your peace of mind is more valuable than clinging to something that no longer serves you. The process of letting go often requires grieving. We may grieve for the person we once were, the dreams we had, or the relationships that didn't last. But once we allow ourselves to fully feel that grief, we open the door to healing. We make space for new possibilities and new joys. In letting go, we find freedom. Freedom from the weight of expectations, from the pain of the past, and from the fear of the future. Letting go is an act of courage. It is a statement that you trust yourself and the universe to guide you towards something better. Patience is not just the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a positive attitude while waiting. In a fast-paced world where we expect immediate results, we often forget that true growth and success take time. Whether it's healing from emotional pain, mastering a new skill, or building meaningful relationships, everything worth having requires patience. Those who understand the power of patience learn to trust the timing of their lives. They realize that rushing into decisions out of fear or impatience often leads to mistakes, missed opportunities, and regret. By allowing things to unfold naturally, we create space for better outcomes, ones that we couldn't foresee in our haste. Patience is also crucial when dealing with others. In our relationships, being patient means allowing people to grow and evolve at their own pace, without pushing or pressuring them to meet our expectations. It means understanding that everyone is on their own journey and that empathy, not frustration, is what nurtures lasting connections. Moreover, patience teaches us resilience. When we encounter setbacks, instead of giving up or becoming discouraged, we can view these moments as part of the process. Every delay, every challenge is an opportunity to develop strength, wisdom, and character. With patience, we don't just wait passively. We actively cultivate the mindset that will help us achieve our goals in the long run. Life is full of uncertainties, and the fear of failure often holds us back from pursuing our dreams. But the truth is, without risk, there is no growth. To achieve anything meaningful, we must be willing to step outside our comfort zones and take chances. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. Every time you take a risk, whether it's starting a new project, speaking your truth, or following your passion, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You challenge the status quo and push the boundaries of what's possible in your life. Taking risks doesn't mean being reckless or making impulsive decisions. It means having the wisdom to evaluate the potential outcomes and still choosing to move forward, even when the path is unclear. The greatest achievements in life often come from those moments when we dared to do something different, something that felt uncertain but also exciting. Risk is what fuels innovation and progress. In our personal lives, it's the willingness to open our hearts to love, even after being hurt. It's the courage to leave a job that doesn't fulfill us, to start a business that reflects our true passions, or to stand up for what we believe in, even when others disagree. Most importantly, taking risks helps us grow. Even if we fail, we gain invaluable experience and insight. We learn what works and what doesn't, and we become stronger and more resilient. In the end, it's not the risks we take that we regret, it's the opportunities we didn't pursue. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from challenges, to weather life's storms and emerge stronger on the other side. It's not about avoiding difficulties, but about learning how to navigate through them with grace and strength. Adversity is a natural part of life. Whether it comes in the form of loss, failure, or unexpected changes, we all face moments when the ground feels shaky beneath our feet. But it's in these moments that we have the opportunity to build resilience, to learn how to adapt, persevere, and grow. Resilient people don't let hardships define them. They acknowledge their pain, but they don't allow it to consume them. Instead, they focus on what they can control: their mindset, their actions, and their ability to learn from the experience. They understand that every challenge carries with it a lesson, and it's their job to uncover that lesson. One of the most powerful tools for building resilience is a positive mindset. This doesn't mean ignoring the difficulties or pretending everything is fine. Rather, it's about choosing to focus on the opportunities for growth, even in the midst of hardship. It's about believing that no matter how tough things get, you have the strength to overcome them. Resilience is also about flexibility. Life rarely goes according to plan, and those who are able to adapt to changing circumstances are the ones who thrive. This requires letting go of rigid expectations and embracing the flow of life, trusting that even when things don't go as expected, there's still value in the journey. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as something we do for others, but in reality, it's one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. Holding on to anger, resentment, or grudges only weighs us down, keeping us trapped in the past. Forgiveness, on the other hand, allows us to let go of that burden and move forward with a lighter heart. Forgiving doesn't mean excusing someone's harmful behavior or pretending that it didn't hurt. It means releasing the hold that the hurt has over you. It's about choosing to free yourself from the negative emotions that come with holding on to grievances. When we forgive, we reclaim our peace of mind and emotional well-being. Self-forgiveness is equally important. We are often our own harshest critics, replaying our mistakes and failures in our minds, long after they've occurred. But just as we extend grace to others, we must learn to extend it to ourselves. Mistakes are a part of life, and they don't define us. What defines us is how we respond to them, whether we choose to learn, grow, and move forward. Forgiveness is an act of courage and compassion. It takes strength to let go of the pain, but when we do, we make space for healing, joy, and love. By forgiving others and ourselves, we open the door to a future unclouded by the past. Vulnerability is often seen as a weakness, but in reality, it is one of the greatest sources of strength. To be vulnerable means to be open, to be authentic, and to allow ourselves to be seen as we truly are, flaws and all. It's about embracing uncertainty and risk, knowing that doing so is the only way to live a full and meaningful life. In a world that often values perfection and control, being vulnerable can feel terrifying. We fear judgment, rejection, or failure. But when we hide behind walls of protection, we also block ourselves from experiencing deep connection, love, and growth. Vulnerability is the key to forming authentic relationships and living an authentic life. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we give others permission to do the same. We create an environment where honesty, trust, and compassion can flourish. In our vulnerability, we connect with others on a deeper level because we show them that we are all human, that we all have fears and insecurities, but that we are also all worthy of love and acceptance. Vulnerability is also the birthplace of creativity, innovation, and change. It's the courage to try something new, to take risks, and to step into the unknown. Without vulnerability, we stay stuck in what is safe and familiar, but with it, we open ourselves up to the possibility of something greater. Setting boundaries is an essential part of self-care and emotional well-being. Boundaries are the limits we establish to protect our time, energy, and emotional health. They help us define what is acceptable and what is not in our relationships and interactions with others. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear being seen as selfish or unkind. But in reality, boundaries are an act of self-respect. They allow us to maintain healthy relationships by ensuring that we don't become overwhelmed or taken advantage of. When we set clear boundaries, we communicate our needs and values, which helps prevent misunderstandings and resentment. Boundaries also give us the space to prioritize ourselves without guilt. They remind us that it's okay to say no, to take time for ourselves, and to protect our mental and emotional health. By setting boundaries, we ensure that we have the energy and capacity to show up fully in our relationships and commitments. Learning to set boundaries is a process, but it's one that becomes easier with practice. It requires self-awareness, confidence, and the understanding that you are worthy of respect, both from others and from yourself. Self-love is the foundation of a happy, fulfilling life. It's the practice of accepting and loving yourself for who you are, without conditions. Many people equate self-love with selfishness, but in reality, it is the opposite. When you truly love yourself, you have more love to give to others because you are not seeking validation or approval from them. Self-love is about recognizing your worth and treating yourself with kindness, compassion, and respect. It's about taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental health, and prioritizing your well-being. When you love yourself, you stop comparing yourself to others and start appreciating your unique strengths and qualities. One of the most important aspects of self-love is practicing self-care. This means taking time for yourself, doing things that bring you joy, and setting boundaries to protect your energy. It also means speaking to yourself with kindness and challenging the negative self-talk that can undermine your confidence. Self-love is not about perfection, but about embracing your imperfections and loving yourself anyway. It's a lifelong journey, but it is one that leads to greater happiness, peace, and fulfillment. Living with intention means being mindful of how you spend your time, energy, and attention. It's about making conscious choices that align with your values and goals, rather than going through life on autopilot. When you live with intention, you take responsibility for your life and the direction it's headed. Intentional living requires self-awareness and clarity. It's about understanding what truly matters to you and focusing on those things. It means saying no to distractions and yes to the things that bring you closer to your purpose. It's about living in the present moment and making decisions that reflect your long-term vision for your life. Living with intention doesn't mean that every moment has to be planned or productive. It's about balance, about finding joy and meaning in both the big moments and the small, everyday experiences. When you live intentionally, you create a life that feels authentic, fulfilling, and aligned with who you are. Change is the only constant in life, yet it is often met with resistance. Whether it's a change in our personal circumstances, relationships, or even within ourselves, the unknown can be frightening. We cling to what's familiar because it gives us a sense of control, but in doing so, we limit our potential for growth. To truly thrive, we must learn to embrace change rather than fear it. Change is not something to be avoided, but something to be welcomed. It is the catalyst for transformation, the force that propels us forward and expands our horizons. When we resist change, we stagnate. But when we embrace it, we allow life to flow through us, carrying us toward new opportunities and experiences. Part of embracing change is learning to trust in the process. Often, we cannot see the bigger picture, and the changes we experience may feel unsettling or even painful in the moment. But with time, we often realize that those very changes were necessary for our personal evolution. The relationships that ended, the jobs we lost, the moves we made, each shift opened the door to something new, something better aligned with our true selves. Adapting to change requires flexibility, resilience, and faith. It means letting go of the need to control every outcome and trusting that life is unfolding as it should. When we stop fighting against change and instead flow with it, we discover a sense of freedom and peace that cannot be found in rigidity. Life, after all, is not meant to be static. It is meant to evolve, and we are meant to evolve with it. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present in the moment, without judgment or distraction. It's about experiencing life as it happens, rather than constantly dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. In our fast-paced, multitasking world, mindfulness offers a refuge, a way to reconnect with ourselves and find peace amidst the chaos. At its core, mindfulness is about awareness. It teaches us to observe our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without getting caught up in them. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to respond to life's challenges with calm and clarity, rather than reacting impulsively out of fear or frustration. Mindfulness also deepens our connection to the present moment. It allows us to fully experience the simple joys of life, whether it's the warmth of the sun on our skin, the sound of a loved one's laughter, or the taste of a delicious meal. These moments may seem small, but they are what make life rich and meaningful. The benefits of mindfulness extend beyond the personal. When we are mindful, we become more attuned to the needs and emotions of others. We listen more deeply, respond more thoughtfully, and engage more fully in our relationships. Mindfulness nurtures compassion and empathy, helping us build stronger, more authentic connections. Incorporating mindfulness into our daily lives doesn't require drastic changes. It can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths before responding to a stressful situation, or pausing to fully savor a moment of joy. The more we practice mindfulness, the more we cultivate a sense of inner peace, balance, and fulfillment. Failure is an inevitable part of life, yet it's something that many of us fear deeply. We equate failure with inadequacy, with not being good enough. But in reality, failure is not a reflection of our worth. It is a necessary stepping stone on the path to success. The fear of failure often holds us back from pursuing our dreams. We worry about what others will think, or we convince ourselves that we're not capable of achieving our goals. But the truth is, failure is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced. Each failure brings with it valuable lessons, insights, and opportunities for growth. When we shift our perspective on failure, we begin to see it not as an endpoint, but as a part of the journey. Every successful person has faced failure at some point, often many times. What sets them apart is their ability to persevere, to learn from their mistakes, and to keep moving forward despite the setbacks. Overcoming the fear of failure requires a mindset shift. Instead of viewing failure as a sign of weakness, we can see it as a sign of courage. The courage to try, to take risks, and to pursue what matters most to us. Failure is not a reflection of who we are. It is a reflection of our willingness to grow and evolve. The next time you face the possibility of failure, ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? And if that worst-case scenario comes to pass, will you still be standing? The answer is almost always yes. You will survive, you will learn, and you will come out stronger on the other side. Self-reflection is the process of looking inward, examining our thoughts, actions, and motivations in order to gain a deeper understanding of ourselves. It's a powerful tool for personal growth, as it allows us to identify patterns in our behavior, recognize areas for improvement, and make more intentional choices. In our busy lives, it's easy to fall into the habit of going through the motions without really thinking about why we do what we do. But when we take the time to reflect, we gain clarity. We begin to see how our past experiences have shaped our present reality, and we become more aware of the choices we have in shaping our future. Self-reflection is not about dwelling on mistakes or judging ourselves harshly. It's about approaching our thoughts and actions with curiosity and compassion. What drives us? What brings us joy? What holds us back? By asking these questions, we gain insight into our inner world, which in turn helps us make more conscious decisions in our outer world. Regular self-reflection helps us stay aligned with our values and goals. It ensures that we're not simply reacting to life's circumstances, but actively creating the life we want to live. It also fosters a sense of accountability. When we reflect on our actions, we can see where we've fallen short and take steps to make amends or change course. The practice of self-reflection can take many forms. Some people journal their thoughts and experiences, others meditate, and some simply take quiet moments throughout the day to check in with themselves. The key is to create space for introspection, to listen to your inner voice, and to honor what it tells you. Our thoughts have a powerful impact on our emotions and our overall well-being. When we get caught in patterns of negative thinking, worrying about the future, replaying past mistakes, or criticizing ourselves, we create unnecessary suffering. But the good news is, we have the power to change our thoughts. Reframing is the practice of challenging negative thoughts and replacing them with more positive, empowering ones. It's not about denying reality or ignoring problems, but about shifting our perspective so that we see situations in a more constructive light. For example, instead of thinking, "I always fail at everything," we can reframe that thought to, "I faced challenges before and overcome them. I can learn from this experience and keep moving forward." Instead of thinking, "I'll never be good enough," we can remind ourselves, "I am constantly growing, and I have strengths that make me unique." Reframing helps us break free from limiting beliefs and self-doubt. It empowers us to take control of our mindset, which in turn affects how we feel and how we approach life. When we learn to challenge negative thoughts, we build resilience and confidence. Reframing also allows us to see the opportunities hidden within challenges. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, we can see them as learning experiences. Instead of seeing obstacles as insurmountable, we can approach them as opportunities to grow stronger. This shift in mindset doesn't just improve our emotional well-being, it also increases our chances of success. Gratitude, when practiced consistently, can transform our lives in profound ways. By making gratitude a daily ritual, we train our minds to focus on the positive aspects of our lives, no matter how small they may seem. This practice shifts our attention away from what we lack and helps us appreciate the abundance that already surrounds us. A simple way to incorporate gratitude into your daily routine is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few moments to write down 3 things you're grateful for. These can be big or small: a loving relationship, a sunny day, a kind gesture from a stranger. The act of writing them down helps solidify the feeling of gratitude and reminds us of the good in our lives. Over time, the more we practice gratitude, the more we begin to see opportunities for it throughout the day. We start to notice the beauty in ordinary moments, the kindness in others, and the lessons in our challenges. Gratitude becomes a lens through which we view the world, and this lens brings more joy, peace, and fulfillment into our lives. The benefits of gratitude extend beyond our personal well-being. When we express gratitude to others, we strengthen our relationships and foster a sense of connection and appreciation. Gratitude is contagious. It inspires others to feel grateful as well, creating a ripple effect of positivity and kindness. In today's fast-paced society, finding balance can feel like an impossible task. We juggle work, relationships, responsibilities, and personal goals, all while trying to maintain our mental and physical health. But balance isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about recognizing what matters most and creating space for those things in our lives. Achieving balance requires setting priorities and boundaries. It means being intentional about where we invest our time and energy, and learning to say no to things that don't align with our values or contribute to our well-being. Balance is not static. It's something we continually adjust as our circumstances and needs change. One of the biggest challenges to balance is the pressure to be constantly productive. We live in a culture that often equates busyness with success, but this mindset can lead to burnout and stress. True balance means giving ourselves permission to rest, to slow down, and to enjoy life's simple pleasures. Balance also involves nurturing all aspects of ourselves, our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. It means taking care of our bodies through exercise and healthy habits, nurturing our minds through learning and creativity, and feeding our souls through meaningful connections and self-care practices. Finding balance is not about achieving perfection, but about creating harmony in our lives. It's about listening to our bodies, honoring our limits, and recognizing that we are more than our to-do lists. When we find balance, we create the space to fully enjoy life and to pursue what truly brings us joy and fulfillment. Living a purpose-driven life means aligning your actions with a deeper sense of meaning and direction. It's about understanding what you value most and using that understanding to guide your decisions and goals. Purpose gives our lives structure, motivation, and a sense of fulfillment that goes beyond material success. For many, discovering their purpose is a journey that unfolds over time. It's not always a clear or singular goal, but rather a combination of passions, talents, and values that shape how we want to contribute to the world. Living with purpose doesn't mean having all the answers. It means being intentional about how we live and what impact we want to have. When we live with purpose, we wake up each day with a sense of direction. Our actions are fueled by something greater than ourselves, and this gives us the strength to persevere through challenges. Purpose provides clarity during difficult times, reminding us why we do what we do and keeping us focused on the bigger picture. Living a purpose-driven life also brings a deep sense of satisfaction. It's the difference between simply going through the motions and living each day with intention and passion. Purpose connects us to others, inspires us to grow, and helps us leave a lasting legacy. In our achievement-driven culture, rest is often overlooked, undervalued, or seen as a sign of weakness. Yet, rest is essential for our well-being, creativity, and productivity. When we push ourselves too hard without allowing time to recharge, we risk burnout, not only physically but emotionally and mentally as well. Rest isn't just about sleeping or taking a break from work. It's about intentionally carving out time to rejuvenate all aspects of ourselves. This could mean spending time in nature, engaging in a creative hobby, meditating, or simply being still. Rest allows us to reconnect with ourselves, to process our thoughts and emotions, and to gain perspective. Rejuvenation is also about filling our lives with moments that bring us joy and peace. When we allow ourselves to rest, we become more present, more patient, and more attuned to our own needs and the needs of others. Rest fuels our ability to show up fully in life, whether in our work, relationships, or personal pursuits. The most successful and fulfilled people understand the importance of balance between effort and rest. They know that by stepping back, they're not losing ground but building the energy and clarity needed for the next step forward. When we honor the need for rest, we not only improve our physical health but also open the door to new ideas, solutions, and inspiration. Often, when we think about success or achieving our goals, we focus on the big, dramatic changes we need to make. However, real progress is often the result of small, consistent actions over time. It's the little steps we take every day that compound and lead to lasting change. Whether it's improving our health, building a new skill, or creating a fulfilling life, the key is consistency. Small actions, repeated daily, have a powerful ripple effect. They build momentum, foster discipline, and create habits that support our long-term goals. One of the reasons people struggle to achieve their goals is that they try to do too much too quickly. They set unrealistic expectations, and when they don't see immediate results, they give up. But the truth is, success is rarely about giant leaps. It's about incremental progress. Each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to where we want to be. By focusing on small, manageable actions, we also reduce the pressure and overwhelm that can accompany big goals. We learn to trust the process, knowing that each day's efforts contribute to the bigger picture. Consistency helps us develop patience, persistence, and a deep sense of accomplishment that comes from knowing we're moving in the right direction. As we move through life, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of the next big achievement, the next goal, or the next milestone. But true fulfillment often comes not from what we accomplish, but from how we experience life along the way. Living with gratitude and purpose is about finding meaning and joy in the present moment, while staying connected to our deeper intentions. Gratitude helps us appreciate the journey, even when it's filled with challenges. It reminds us to celebrate small wins, to value the people who support us, and to find beauty in the everyday. Purpose gives us direction. It fuels our passion and guides our decisions, helping us stay focused on what truly matters. When we combine gratitude with purpose, we live with a sense of richness that transcends external success. We become more resilient, more compassionate, and more connected to the world around us. Gratitude grounds us in the present, while purpose motivates us toward the future. Together, they create a life that is not only successful but deeply meaningful. The journey to fulfillment is not a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and challenges that test our resilience, courage, and commitment. But it is through these challenges that we grow, learn, and ultimately discover what it means to live a meaningful life. To find fulfillment, we must live authentically, practice gratitude, embrace vulnerability, and cultivate self-love. We must set boundaries, take risks, and trust in the process of life. Most importantly, we must remember that fulfillment is not a destination, but a journey, one that we walk every day, with intention, patience, and grace. As you continue on your own journey, may you find the strength to embrace who you truly are, the courage to take risks, and the wisdom to live a life that reflects your highest values. True fulfillment is within your reach, and it begins with the choices you make today.